I have always been obsessed with Guillermo del Toro. Did I say that right? Guillermo del Toro. Let me start that over. Hi, I'm Amanda Abbott. I'm the writer, co-producer, and co-director of Things That Creep Around. So Things That Creep Around was inspired originally by, weirdly enough, a Tumblr post. It was somebody, supposedly true story, where somebody was talking about staying at their relative's house. Creepy things were happening outside. They heard their relative outside. They went to go check on her, and the relative came from inside and yelled at her not to go outside after dark. It was just a very short, kind of creepy, small thing, and it kind of blossomed from there in my own mind. I thought I could really do something with it. From there, I wrote I believe, 40-page mini, short film that I kind of did in a couple afternoons and just kind of liked writing it and didn't really think I'd do much with it. I knew Jared from previously working on other films with him, and he mentioned that he was looking for films to direct, and I shot him the script just to see what his thoughts were, and he really, really dug it. So from there, we developed the script out into a longer, feature-length film, developed the idea of doing a shorter proof of concept to advertise it, and from there, we just kind of hit the ground running. Actually, yes, I have been writing horror since the beginning, since I started writing in middle school and junior high. The first story I ever wrote was this really creepy story about this guy that collects skulls. And my mom sat me down after she read it and asked if I was doing okay. So I've always really loved horror. To me, it's one of the more um, to me, it's one of the easiest genres to kickstart. There's always some sort of motor behind a horror genre, whether it's a film or a short story or a novel, what have you. The implicit fear creates a motor that a lot of drama or comedy doesn't necessarily have by itself. I think I've always had a passion for writing. When I was a kid, I was easily distracted, and I was kind of, this sounds braggy, but I was kind of ahead of the curve in my classroom. So I would realize that I knew how to do what they were talking about, and I would be sent out of the classroom because I would be up and walking around and talking and being distracted. So I remember being sent out of the room and encouraged to write stories and create instead of just being bored and throwing things. So that was honestly my first experience writing, and I've always kind of kept it up. I started really, really learning that I had a passion for storytelling and really getting into the guts of what makes a story work in high school and college. As a creative writing major, I learned, the ins and outs of how to make stories work, and that was what really set me on fire and made me really realize I don't think I could live without writing after that. Um, the gratification of telling a really, really well crafted story is what pushes me forward and makes me inspired to wake up every day. What makes a good story is that it puts its characters first. You can have the best plot in the world. You can have tons of twists and turns and crazy puzzles and trick your reader and or your audience or what have you. and really, really have amazing, innovative thoughts. But if you don't have a character to back that up, and you don't have something for it to the human element that will connect your audience and make them feel like they've lived in your story, then nobody's going to be interested. Nobody will watch your story. So any story that can marry plot points with character plot points and really make a satisfying and engaging character journey alongside a really satisfying plot journey, that's butter. Like there's nothing better than that. Some people that inspire me as a writer are mostly fiction writers. I got my start writing short stories and novels. That's most of what I read. Writing and reading didn't happen until much later on, about senior year of college. So I've had a little less delving in on that front, but some writers that have always inspired me, Anne Lamott, she's a nonfiction writer, weirdly enough, which is not my bread and butter, but she's very, for writers, she's one of the most inspiring people. She's got a great mentality of do what you can and then a bit more. And that's on those really, really hard writing days, that's one of the best things to really like sink into. As far as fiction writing, Kurt Vonnegut is a must for me. He's a well of inspiration for me as far as his like his ability to create plots that are nonsensical but also still feel like they've punched you in the gut at the end of the day is incredible. As far as filmmakers go, Guillermo del Toro is a love of mine. I've always been obsessed with his work. He is one that can marry characters that feel lush and three-dimensional and meaningful, and pair those with a plot that you've never seen. Even if it has elements that you've seen before, you've never seen a Guillermo del Toro movie until you've seen a Guillermo del Toro movie, which is just very, very inspiring. That said, my favorite movie is Shaun of the Dead for a lot of the same reasons. It's not the most artsy movie, and it's a goofy ride, but the characters matter, and they have a wonderful journey that it feels gratifying at the end, and it's married so perfectly with the plot. So any writer that can really pull that off is going to be, happy. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on social media, and if you'd like to check out more of our content, it's at thingsatcreepmovie.com.